Welcome to Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. We are live from Lincoln Yard in Birmingham. If you've never been here, come out, check it out. It is a beautiful restaurant with beautiful food. It's very popular. Of course, it's one of the Union Joints restaurants. We'll talk to Kurt Catallo later on in the show, the co-owner. I'm Brooke Allen. Thanks so much for being with us today. Of course, a new month, a new show. This is episode 39. We've got a lot going on today. Trust me on this one. Thank you for being with us. Well, right about now is when we usually mention the giveaway. We are switching it up. We are pretty excited about this, and I think you will be too. So you want to stick around for that. We'll have more details coming up at the end of the show with Jason, of course. Well, it is hard to believe that the school year is almost upon us. And the Student Connection, they are based in Bloomfield Hills, where they offer tutoring in math, science, language arts, along with college prep and essays. Bridget Gavin is the owner, and Bridget, while it may be about improving grades, it is also about gaining confidence and preparing for the future, right?
It really is a lot about gaining confidence and preparing for the future. And once you learn how you learn and how it's okay to learn a little differently than everyone else, you can succeed.
You know, I think that's so important what you just mentioned as far as learning differently, because we all learn in different ways. And I know I have twins, they're 12, and they learn very different from each other.
Oh, they do. And surprisingly, I would say a third of my clients are twins.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I'm signing them up.
Because they do learn differently, and they kind of feel maybe we should be doing everything the same.
Right, and extra pressure.
Yes.
Right, and especially when you have someone to judge, I mean, you're kind of judging yourself against somebody else.
Right.
And
right.
I imagine that's with siblings in general.
Yes, and that's why we really encourage one-on-one tutoring, even for standardized test prep, because everyone approaches it differently, and they need to be able to say, wait, I don't get it this way. Mm-hmm. Let me do it another way. So the one-on-one is extremely important for every student.
And you do that for all grades, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right now I'm working with first graders, doing Orton Gillingham with them, which is loads of fun. And then yesterday I had a student complete his final essay for graduate school.
Oh, goodness.
So I take them from the very beginning until they're done with school.
So I know that pretty much all the children have summer reading that they're supposed to be doing. And I'm not so sure how many kids have actually done it. So how do you tell them? Do you have any advice for telling them to get this reading done now?
Well, I encourage them to watch the movie, read a summary of the book, listen to it audibly, however they're going to get it done. And don't be afraid to read the summary so you know what's coming. I firmly believe that how they read is entirely different than how we read because of social media. The world is full of short sound bites, mm-hmm. So they're not used to reading lengthy chapters and everything. So sometimes watching the movie and knowing what's going on or listening to it audibly. I have a student who I thought would love listening to a book audibly, and he said, I lose my focus. I'd rather sit here and read it with you so you can help me, pick out the important parts and
decipher it and kind of
mm-hmm.
interpret it if needed.
So, and that's where the one-on-one tutoring becomes important.
So how long is a tutoring session?
Usually an hour.
Okay.
Then they can stay before or after and complete their assignment, and there's no charge. Like if they're on a roll, let's say, mm-hmm. and they want to get the paper done or the math assignment done, then we have other rooms where they just go and sit. We also have a homework program, which I encourage, and I was very surprised last year. COVID kind of took it away, and last year I had some students request that we put it back because they can come after school or they can come after sports. I take their phones, and for an hour and a half, they can just concentrate on homework. They can go home, it's done, and they can do what they want.
You know what, that's nice, because there's always do you have homework? I don't have any homework. And then you all of a sudden know they've got a lot of homework they haven't done.
And we have accountability coaching, where they meet with me on a Sunday or a Monday or sometimes on a Wednesday, and we go through their Power School or MUDGE, which is U of D's, and we plan out the week, and we include sports, activities, volunteering, so they see everything that they have to do and where studying fits in. And usually it's a process, and it usually takes us a good school year, but then they see me less and less and less as it goes on.
So it's kind of to get them in the groove and to kind of organized, right? I mean, it's all about organization.
It really is. And everybody is organized differently. I had one young man who hated color coding, and his mother loved color coding. And every year we would have a fight about color coding. I finally said, just let him do it in pencil. He's okay. He's doing everything we're asking, but it's in pencil. And once we took the color coding away, he soared.
Really?
He got it right.
So sometimes the parents have to kind of trust the kids too, right?
Oh, they have to listen. They really have to listen. And if they come home and they're upset and things, they need to maybe back off for a little while, but listen and not. My children were high-level athletes, and there was the 24-hour rule where you didn't talk till 24 hours after. I often say with parents, 24-hour rule on a school incident, especially with young women in drama. In 24 hours, it could be all over.
Okay, yes, just kind of let it, 24 hours, let it ride, see what happens, and then you can deal with it after that.
Yes.
That might be good advice in general, right?
Right.
For anyone, actually. Okay, so ACT, SAT, what's going on with these tests?
Well, SAT has gone digital, and it is an adaptive test now, which means if you do well on the first section, the second section becomes a little harder. It is still a reading and vocabulary test. I don't care what anyone says. It's a strong reading test, and you have to have a strong vocabulary to do well on the SAT, even in the math. It's like solving a puzzle because they're story problems. The ACT just announced that they are shortening the test. The science is going optional in April of 2025. I really can't, I'm going to be truthful, I can't speak intelligently to it because they're still rolling out exactly what they're doing. And I found that along the way, they even make changes. So I don't know if April 2025 is really when it's going to change. I suspect it might be August of 2025.
Okay, so what is your advice to students and to parents alike that are, the school year is going to be here soon? So what do we do? How do we get this going?
Well, first, you take some time and have fun.
Okay.
And just do
We've got
things
that
are creative and enjoy and travel and spend time together. Then really read. I don't care if they listen to the book. I don't care if they pick a book that they absolutely love that you think is not noteworthy. As long as they read, and reading will strengthen their vocabulary. It will also teach them about grammar because they'll learn the sentence structures. They'll learn why a pause is important, what happens. So I encourage reading, although they all don't like reading. And I encourage them to kind of look ahead a little. We encourage previewing what's coming up. A lot of times we work on the first 2 or 3 chapters of a book, a textbook, to learn how to read the textbook. How you read a history textbook is entirely different than how you read a novel. How you read a biology text is different than a history text. So we like to preview with them, review the math because it's reinforce.
Right.
Really?
Okay. So
And
review, get organized.
Preview, review, and reinforce is really the method we take. So you preview the material, you review the material, and then you reinforce.
Okay.
And if you're studying for AP, sign up for the College Board AP Classroom because that's really going to help you. And don't be afraid if you don't read the whole text. You can listen to videos, you can find outlines online. The reading for AP is overwhelming. Okay. So I like to prepare students for it because it's not as overwhelming if you learn the strategy to take it.
Okay, so the Student Connection is open how many days a week?
Oh, we're open 7 days a week.
I thought you were.
But on the weekends during the summer, it's by appointment. Okay. But on the weekends during the school year, we're usually there from 10 to 5 during the weekends. Saturday morning's a great time to do your homework. It's quiet. Nobody's up and doing anything quite yet. Sunday is a good time to do your homework. And then we're open until 9 every night. During sports season, we take our last appointments at 9, surprise.
Oh, okay.
These students have practice until 8, and then they're expected to do their homework after, which is tough, which is why the homework center becomes important. They can kind of sneak in at 8 o'clock, get their homework done.
And be done with it.
Okay,
so of course, what's the website people can reach out to?
www.thestudentconnect.com.
Okay, thank you so much. A lot of great advice. I appreciate it, as you know, all of us are getting ready to go buy those school supplies. And,
I know.
Dread. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bridget Govan. She is the owner of the Student Connection. Of course, they do offer tutoring for all grades. Well, I don't know about you, but the heat has upped my migraines. The Michigan Institute for Neurological Disorders actually opening a new headache and facial pain center equipped with a green light. Let's watch.
Okay, so I am with Dr. Lauren Amon, and this is our Healthy Well. Okay, so I am with Dr. Lauren Amon, and where are we right now?
So this is one room in our headache and facial pain center. We're calling it the blackout room. It's for patients that come in with an active pain attack or an active migraine. We'll bring them in here. You know, usually during a migraine, you're light sensitive, sound sensitive, smell sensitive. So this room is reduced sensory stimuli. So there's no windows.
Yeah, no windows.
The lights can be completely turned off, and you know, we have a green lamp, and this lamp gives off green wavelength, which is, you know, been studied extensively for patients with active migraine.
And this is a medical grade light.
Yeah.
This is not something you find in a big box store.
Created by Dr. Randy Bernstein, who's extensively studied, you know, migraine, has come out, or at least has helped contribute to a lot of the new treatments. And this is something that he came out with. So we know it's, you know, scientifically shown to work.
For sure.
But if you're having an active migraine and you're looking at this light, or at least in the vicinity of this light, it actually can shorten the duration of the attack, and just without taking any treatment, make you feel better.
And you know, that is so important, because when you go to like an emergency clinic, you will hear the racket and the smell, just everything. It's so much, and it just makes it worse. So, I mean, already in here, it is relaxing.
Yes.
Right? You've got the green light, and then she did say blackout room. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually show you what it's going to look like if you were suffering from oh, there it goes. And now the last one will be in the complete dark. And there it is. There's the green light. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you.
And I'm actually a patient at Mind. You can find out all the information you need at mindonline.com. Well, for our Women in Business segment, I have not only a friend, a director, but also a fashion designer and a fantastic makeup artist, if I do say so myself.
Thank you.
I didn't have to stress about how I looked last week during the After Dark show.
It's a good palette to work with.
Barbie Weiserman, thank you so much for being here. Of course, you have a big resume. And I mean, seriously, everything you do is so impressive.
It's fun.
It is fun. You're fun. But the whole idea of sustainable clothing is huge to you, right?
Well, it's called sustainable clothing to me is what someone else wore.
Okay.
So keeping it out of the, the underground, don't bury it.
Right.
You know,
right.
especially, so what I like to do is every piece of clothing that's vintage has a story. Mm-hmm. And it comes from a culture, it comes from a story. So I like to incorporate some kind of a story based on the outfit that it is. Landfill, that's the word I'm looking for. So keeping it out of the landfill to me is sustainable. And so a part of that is some things are so beautiful. It could be from the 30s, it could be a kimono, it could be anything, and it's stained or torn, and it's not sellable. And to me, it's like, okay, let's see what we can do if we cut around that stain,
Right.
you know, and I'll wear it if it has a stain, if it's beautiful. And someone says, did you know that's on there? And I'm like, it's called sustain the stain.
Exactly.
So yeah, sustainability is a way of sharing, looking past the history, looking past the flaws, and just moving forward and finding the beauty in it, right?
And I think that's, I mean, finding new beauty, right?
Oh yeah,
That's
absolutely.
what it's all about.
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, so September is a big month for you. Tell me
So-
what's going on.
Okay. September, I've been invited to New York Fashion Week with Rise New York, and it's a really interesting venue. They're very enthusiastic. They take new designers based on what they see, and then they help them form a business. That's not what I'm about. So they brought me on knowing I like to do one-offs. I like to work with musicians like me a lot, people that are flamboyant, have flair. I have a costume design background, so that usually gets me close to Bob Mackie. So anyways, we are going to New York Fashion Week in September. We're walking, my models are walking on September 6th. And our line this year, because we call ourselves ancient, because then you look to the past to move forward, and I use a lot of inspiration. So we're using the golden age of Hollywood, the silver, and the inspiration comes from the iconic designs that were worn by Marilyn Monroe.
Okay.
And so I'm taking 6 models from Michigan. They're being trained to become certified models. I've been given permission, which is unheard of, because usually you have only the models that they provide.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you have actually 6 from Michigan. Some of them are actually here
Yeah,
today.
I've got a couple of
which
them
is
here.
Very cool.
Yeah, and they're being trained by a local modeling agency who's just wonderful. So Kim Simpson with your Entourage agency is just fantastic with these ladies. So when I submitted my designs, which are the same ones I submitted to you, they're from Michigan Fashion Week or Walk Fashion. Some of them are from New York Fashion Week from 4 years ago.
Right.
They called and said, girl, bring it.
And you are.
I am bringing
you
it.
are
Yeah, and I'm bringing
it.
6 of
And
them
you're
with
bringing
me.
6 of them
And I
with
said
you.
I was only going to do it if I could bring my own models,
Right.
because I like to do the fits here, and I like to use their personality to make it match. And they're like, no, no, no. So I said, okay, I'm not doing it. And then about a month ago, they said, okay. So
You're doing it.
I'm doing it.
You're
I'm
doing
bringing
it.
them.
So,
I'm bringing it.
You know, for these girls, what's their age range?
Most of them are college students, so I don't know, 18 to 22, 21, 22, they're in college. One of my models is also my intern. She's in fashion design in Miami University in Ohio, I believe. And the other 2 models are interested in modeling as a career, and film and modeling as a career for the other one. Charlotte, Abby, and Sydney, they're at MSU, and Charlotte's in anthropology. So her dress will have chain stitched with those little chain dolls, you know, where so she's actually crocheting her own chain dolls for her dress. It'll have lace from the history and that kind of a thing, in one of Marilyn Monroe's dresses. Estella is the one who's studying fashion design, so she's going to have way haute couture. So it won't be so avant-garde, but more haute couture. And then Abby is literature. So she will have pages and writing that's subliminal coming up. You can't see what it is, but part of her essays, some of her favorite books, and it's going to be handwritten. And then Sydney is doing advertising. She wants to get in advertising, so I'm putting a lot of Rorschach on there. It's like subliminal. And it nods to different kinds of Obie awards and that kind of a thing.
So interesting that, you know, I mean, clothes make us have the power to make us feel good or bad, really, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, they really do.
Right. People either dress the way they feel to make them feel good, or they dress the way they want people to see them. And so when I get my models to fit, and that's in Michigan when I just pick my models, I have a really hard time working from a rendering, because I like to take them so often. I put them in the outfit I've made for them and go, oh, no, take that off. And then I'll build something right then and there for them, or I rotate in and out. I don't care if I made it for a woman and a man comes in for a fitting. I'm like, oh, put that on. Let's see if that works. And they'll go down the runway with it. And it's just a lot of fun. And I think my models have a lot of fun with it, too. So.
Well, you're a lot of fun. So, okay, you have some beautiful, what is on your lap? Tell
What's
me.
on my lap
Show me.
is some of the stuff I do, like I talked about history and stories. So this is just a denim jacket, which is
That is beautiful.
It's Martith Francois Jabot, who was very popular in the 80s.
Okay.
So it's an 80s jacket, and it's a bunch of vintage ties here. So I call this one Unfinished Business.
Love
because
it.
the ties are basically unfinished.
Right.
But it's the woman who finishes the business.
Yep.
So anyway, so that's what that is.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And then this one here, it's not finished, but it's celebrating the Chinese New Year.
Okay.
So the lace is the doilies, sorry, it's Hong Kong.
Okay.
Okay, so celebrating Hong Kong used to be owned by the British. So I have some doilies here that came from northern Scotland when I was just there this past May. The Burberry, which is, English designer fabric. And then I have the dragon bursting through, and it's not finished because I'm going to take vintage jewelry pieces that are broken, and it's going to have the fireworks on
Wow.
it. So it's a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So how long does a piece like this take you to do?
When I get inspired,
Yeah.
half an hour.
I was going to say
Yeah.
pretty quick,
I just
right?
start moving, and I'm thinking, and I see this, and I go that, and
Yep.
sometimes I don't know what it's going to be. I just start.
You just start, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your piece of advice for an aspiring fashion designer?
So learn how to sew a pattern, because you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to make your own sleeve pattern. You don't need to make a circle skirt. Somebody did that already. So a lot of times fashion designers think that's not designing. If you put your fabric on it and you switch it up, that's your design. So, and a lot of times fashion designers don't know how to sew. Knowing how to sew gets you to the couture sewing, and that's exactly what you need. So just learn how to sew.
Okay, so learn how to sew, and then what about for an aspiring model?
To inspire models, I would say go to see Kim at your Entourage agency, because
Okay.
she will get you walking the right way, you lean the right way, she'll pose you the right way, she'll tell you how to wear the designer's clothing. Mine needs to be fun. And if it's glamorous, what I tell my designers is pick one person in the audience, male or female, don't care. Look at them and say, wouldn't you like to buy this? And if you look at a man, don't you want your person to wear this,
Right.
And then walk away and flip it and say, oh, don't forget about my back. Because a lot of times it's on the back, what my design will be on the back.
Okay.
And it just, working with vintage clothing, the first New York Fashion Week we went the design group that I had, and it was taking vintage wedding dresses and tuxedos. So what was once discarded is now discovered. And we made some beautiful jumpers and some outrageous outfits and kilts made from them that the girls were wearing and the guys were wearing. And then we did this fabulous photo shoot in New York Times Square at night, and
That's
it was
so
just
cool.
very well received going down the runway too. So
Okay, so as you get ready for September, what is the one thing that you're going to be thinking about?
finishing my designs. I mean, they're there,
Okay.
but they're not ready yet. So I
Okay.
have to have I haven't done my fittings with my models yet. So I have to figure out who's wearing which one. And they're all basically the same size, which helps. But I need to see the personality first. And then I'll just go from there.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Seriously.
You are welcome. Thank you,
It
Brooke.
is always
It's
such a pleasure. And of course, I should mention as well that Barbie is also the director of the One Act show that I'm doing.
Oh, yeah.
So yes.
That Brooke is the star of.
Oh my God.
So,
If I ever learn my lines.
No,
there's
she
that.
will. Oh, yeah, we're getting together on that one,
Yes,
girl.
we're doing that. So, of course, that is coming up after you get back
That's
from New York.
after, yeah. So
After you
I'm
get
not
back.
there for Tech Week.
Correct.
I'm
But
not supposed to say that
Nope,
out
you're
loud.
not supposed to say that
but
out loud,
my
but yes.
my shows will be so buttoned up and ready to go. It doesn't matter.
yeah, we'll be okay. So that is happening. Those One Acts are happening at Rosedale Community Theater, right?
Yes,
Community
yep.
Players. And super excited about that, but I'm
Yes.
super excited to see
So
how New
you need
York
to come
goes.
out and see Brooke. She will be September 13th for 5 shows, whatever that Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
Followed by the next Friday, Saturday. And she's the muse. So
Go figure.
she's inspiring.
No, thank you, Barbie.
You're welcome. You are
Always a
inspiring.
pleasure. I'll see you tonight at rehearsal.
You will see
All
me
right,
tonight.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And you are watching Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. Of course, we are live from Lincoln Yard in Birmingham, a fabulous restaurant. It's one of my favorites. And we are just so happy to be broadcasting live on this beautiful Monday. Of course, it is the first Monday in August. Well, lawyers get a bad rap. And I had a chance to sit down with local attorney Charles Frangie to talk about that very thing. Let's watch. This is our Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise segment. We are in the wealthy part of it, of course. We are with attorney Charles Frangie. And Charles, thank you so much for joining us. And, I think it's important. You have been an attorney for over 40 years.
40 years, yeah.
Since 1984.
Yes.
And I have to ask you this. Do attorneys get a bad reputation?
To be honest with you, many of us have bad reputation. And in most of the cases, it's not true. It shouldn't be like that. Most of the lawyers are honest, decent, they have families, and like any other person, trying to make a decent living and go home and be with their families. However, some people, or few lawyers, could be greedy and they spoil the reputation of everybody. But they are only a small fraction, a minority of lawyers, a small minority of lawyers
That
are not the good quality, I should say. Yeah.
So for you personally, I mean, because you have been a lawyer for so long, for you personally, does that frustrate you when you hear people talk badly about attorneys?
Definitely, definitely. And however, the public in general, the public has that idea. And sometimes people tell me, oh, if you talk to this person, I say, please, leave me on the side. You talk to him, you the client talk to him, keep the lawyers away. And after you reach an agreement, we lawyers get involved and we draft any necessary documents. Because people don't like to talk to lawyers. They don't like to receive letters from lawyers.
It's scary.
It is scary. It means, oh, trouble is coming.
Trouble is coming, right? Yeah, for sure.
So it's better not to get us involved. And I wish that idea of people changes about us. No, we're honest people, we're decent people in general. And
family people.
And family people, we have families, yeah. All of us have families, and in general, the children of lawyers, the kids of lawyers are good people. They become lawyers, doctors, and in general, they are professionals.
And I think it's important too, because you do deal with divorces, and you can see how messy it can get, especially when kids are involved. And you have kids, you have girls, they're twins, right?
Yes.
14.
Yes.
And I mean, just knowing you these past couple of months, you are a stand-up guy who really cares about family values.
Definitely, it's very important. Family value is very important. And I wish we can reach or put some laws that can keep families together, and instead of have broken families, the father on one side, the mother on one side, the kids on lost between the two,
right,
and they cannot be raised properly. So I wish, again, what kind of laws? This is not easy to determine what laws should be made. Can we force them to live together? Of course, no. You cannot live them because it will be worse.
Right.
But there should be some way, somehow, where families could, as much as possible, be together.
Right. And I think that's important, especially hearing from an attorney. You know what I mean? Anything that I can do to dispel myths about attorneys, I'm happy to do. And I guess I should say that you have 14-year-old twins. I have 12-year-old twins. So we have that in common. So thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And you can reach out to Charles at frangilaw.com. Well, this is Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. It is time for our Great Lakes Made segment. And this business is going strong. It is Papa's Kitchen. And Christina Caffein, you are the owner and the founder, right?
I am.
And it is, of course, women-owned. But what I think is interesting is on your website, it says, a passion for cooking, a love for family.
Yes.
So kind of go into the background of this dressing.
Yeah, so I like to always start off by telling people that my father came here from Greece at the age of 12. And then by the time he was 17 years old with no education, he opened up his first restaurant. And so family means a lot to us. So he worked very hard for over 45 years, but even when he got out of the restaurant, he was home cooking for us in the kitchen.
It stays in you, right?
It does.
Just, if you love cooking, you do it no matter what.
Absolutely. And I remember being 4 years old at our restaurant in Troy, taking cash on the register, and I would properly count back money to the customers.
As a 4-year-old?
As a 4-year-old.
I can't even count back money.
I mean, don't ask me about my math today. It's more
Exactly,
girl
right?
math, but
There is that, right?
There is.
Okay, so you have kind of taken this over.
I have.
And
So he had a restaurant in Shelby Township and he was forced to retire back in 2015. And everybody would come to us and just say, we miss your dad's cooking. And then in 2019, I was diagnosed with a rare condition that I was born with that I had no idea about. And so I was hospitalized at the Cleveland Clinic for over a month. And while I was in the hospital, I thought to myself, what can I do that can carry my dad's legacy on, make the family proud, the kids can all be involved because there's 5 grandchildren. What can I do? And I decided to come up with Papa's Kitchen salad dressings. And so from my hospital bed, I created the bottles, I designed it, I came up with the recipes, minus the pink Greek. And when we got out of the hospital, I figured it all out and launched our company in 21.
Was that in 2021, right?
Yes, that was.
Okay, so 2021, how's it going?
It's going absolutely amazing. So we are now in over 120 retail locations, and we are going to be expanding even more.
Okay, yes, I know there's some announcements, but we can't talk about it. She already
can't.
told me that. You cannot talk about it, so I'm not going to talk about it.
Sorry,
Okay,
wink,
so
wink.
tell me the dressing, tell me the dressings.
Yeah, so we have 5 unique flavors. And when I was creating this line, I didn't want to just go on with just the pink Greek dressing. So we just launched our 5th line, which is our Green Goddess, which is actually made with chickpeas instead of avocado.
Oh.
And so it allows you to have that flavor of the fresh herbs and not overpowered by the oil. Then we have our creamy dill, which I love.
I love dill.
That is my
Is it
favorite.
yeah, it's my favorite
But
too.
the best part, what does that say for calories?
80?
80. So it is a low-cal dressing.
Ooh, I'll be taking this one. I just put everything in my pocket today. It's kind of one of those days.
Then we have our harvest vinaigrette, our pink Greek, and our fresh herb vinaigrette.
Okay, so you actually brought a salad.
I
I'm going to try this.
did.
What dressing is on this?
So the pink Greek dressing is on the salad.
Okay, so you know what? I'm hungry. It's been a rough morning, so I am going to actually try this. So
Yes.
this is the pink
This
Greek.
is the pink Greek.
Okay,
So what
so-
we have here is a bed of romaine lettuce, a nice slab of feta cheese, tomatoes, onion, green pepper. Go ahead.
Really doing this?
She is eating live. How good is that dressing?
So good.
So it is made with beet juice, but you don't taste the beets in it. It adds more of a sweet flavor to it.
Keep talking.
So as she is enjoying this plate of salad, so what I like to tell people is about how pink Greek was created. So my dad started the pink Greek dressing back in the 1970s, and he was in the back of the restaurant cooking up his regular Greek dressing, which is typically a creamy white dressing, oil and vinegar. And he opened up a can of beets, and the juice splashed into the dressing, and it was a oh crap moment that turned into eureka. So what he did was he kept stirring and stirring, and he looked at the color and he goes, this is it. And he took out a 5-gallon bucket to my mom in the front of the restaurant and said, Cleo, this is going to be our signature dressing. And there was nothing like it on the market.
Well, I can attest that it is amazing. I can also imagine it's good as a marinade. Do I have it all over me? I feel like
You
I have
do
it all over
not.
me.
You are good. Yes. So I love to marinate chicken in it.
Okay.
Or I'll even get a rotisserie chicken and shred it with a little bit of olives, and then I'll make like a chicken salad with it.
Okay, so you on your website, you actually have recipes.
We
don't
do.
you?
We have over 25 different recipes on our website. So you can go on there, www.papas-kitchen.com, and you can find the recipes, you can find the dressings, all the nutritional information about the dressings.
And these are all gluten-free.
They are all gluten-free, dairy-free, except for our creamy dill that you stole.
Okay, I did steal it. It's in my pocket.
It is
I just keep putting everything behind my chair
It
today.
is delicious, though.
It
No
is.
pun intended.
No, it is. And you know, I mean, honestly, just the legacy that this is. It's more than salad dressing, let's
It
be
is.
honest.
It
Right?
is family. It is about bringing us together around a table and enjoying good food and company.
Well, you know, it is a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so
Thank
much for joining
you.
us. Thank you for feeding me.
Absolutely.
Thank you for these salad dressings. And out of all of these, there's 5 of them. Which one is the most popular?
The most popular is the pink Greek.
Okay.
But I think everybody is leaning towards right now the harvest vinaigrette, now that we're getting into that fall season. I hate to say it,
I know it's coming.
but that turns into the dressing of the season.
Okay, so seasonal dressings. I love
Seasonal
that.
dressings.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to give this to my mom for her birthday, belated birthday present. I'm just going to hand them out.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you,
so
Brooke.
you are in stores and you are on
Yes.
the website as well.
Yep. So on the website has all 120 locations. So you just go ahead, put your zip code in, and it'll pull up a store around you.
Okay.
And so specialty markets, Papa Joe's, Vincent Joe's, Hollywood, Bush's, Nino. So wherever you're at, check out the refrigeration.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Always a
Brooke.
pleasure, okay?
You too.
And again, that is Christina Calfayan. She is the owner and CEO of Papa's Kitchen. Well, you know, August seems like it is cruise season here in Michigan with all the car stuff going on. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of moderating the Tech Talks at the Troy Traffic Jam. It was a lot of fun. We talked about the GTO, the Mustang, also the new Corvette that is expected to come out soon. Maybe you may even see one at the Woodward Dream Cruise in just a few weeks. But again, I had the pleasure not only to moderate those Tech Talks, but also to check out a few cars. Let's watch. You know, I am so lucky. I get to go all over Michigan and interview people and sit in beautiful cars. I am at the Troy Traffic Jam, of course, and I'm with Mike. And Mike, what is this gorgeous car?
It's a 1933 Packard Coupe Roadster.
How long have you owned this?
A little over a year.
So what was your one thing that you loved about it?
The style. It is a lot of fun to drive. Rides beautifully, drives beautifully, and it does gather a little bit of attention.
Yes, I would. And so, okay, this color is so gorgeous. What color is this?
It's actually a two-tone. If you look at it, the main body is a lighter blue, and the darker, or the fenders are a little darker, and the colors are Marquee blue and Abington blue, and those were original Packard colors. The car had been restored in 2006.
Okay, so you said you've owned it for a year, and dare I ask, how many miles have you put on it?
About 900.
Oh. That's more than I thought you'd say.
Mm-hmm. No, I drive it. Nice weekends. I love taking it out and visiting people, and then if you go visit somebody, obviously you have to take them for a ride in it. So.
Of course. And of course, the Woodward Dream Cruise coming up. Will you be there?
Yes, I will.
Okay, well, I'm going to hunt you down and ask to go for an actual ride in this. It's so gorgeous.
No problem.
So is this the first classic you've bought, or is this something you do?
No, I have the white 1959 Corvette.
Oh, okay. So this is your thing.
I like cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for letting me sit in this beautiful car, and I look forward to seeing you at the Woodward Dream Cruise.
Great. We'll go for a ride.
Excellent. You heard it here. We're going for a ride.
Okay.
And I'm super excited about that. That car was gorgeous. Of course, we are putting together a whole show on the Troy Traffic Jam. All the beautiful cars that were there and the Tech Talks, all of that. You'll be able to see that tomorrow on My Michigan TV, so be sure to check that out. Well, as I mentioned, it is car season in Michigan, and super excited about this because the Hot Wheels weekend. I don't know if I'm saying this right, Christopher.
You
Troy.
are.
Am I? Okay, so the Hot Wheels weekend in Marysville
Yes.
is coming up in a couple of weeks. Jason and I were actually going to be judging the pinup contest.
Oh, great.
Yes, which is fabulous. But you are the producer, one of the producers of the show.
I am.
And I mean, Hot Wheels, you just imagine literal Hot Wheels is what, the cars.
And you know what's so funny you say that, because we've had a number of people say, well, is there tracks we can run down? And it's like, no, we're Hot Wheels, the real thing.
The real
Hot
Hot
Wheels.
Wheels, right? So how many how long have you been doing this?
This is actually going to be our 9th year doing this.
In Marysville?
In Marysville.
Okay.
We started this out as the Marysville Business Association wanted to put on an event to bring attention to the city of Marysville, kind of a tourism thing. And so they talked about doing a car show. And so Mike Deasing, who's one of the other partners of us, reached out to me because he knew I had some experience with car shows. And I said, Mike, the only way I would do another car show, because there's so many of them out there and they're all great, but I really wanted something that would set us apart, is if we also made it a culture thing. If we brought in rockabilly bands, if we brought in pinup girls, if we brought in, and not just the fancy cars, but anybody who loves their cars, who consider them to be Hot Wheels. And so we did that. We started out our first year, and we were amazed at the turnout. And every year it's gotten bigger and bigger. We start out Friday night. It's a Friday and Saturday. And it's funny, your previous spot, you mentioned Woodward. We're the week right after Woodward.
Yes.
So now we get a lot of cars who hang out, come to the state, hang out, and then come to Hot Wheels. We start out Friday night with the Gratiot Cruise, which is a 2.5-mile long loop around Gratiot and Marysville. At dusk, we have a large drive-in movie theater. So we
so
show
cool.
drive-in movies. This year's is Cars #3. So it's
Awesome.
family friendly. And that's
Right,
the
for
other thing.
sure.
We really wanted to make this a family event. Then Saturday, we starting at noon, national anthem. We start the bands up.
Right. So bands, I mean, lots of entertainment. The pinup contest, of course, is that weekend as well. But, how many cars are you expecting?
Last year, we had about 835, and we got a lot of great press from last year. So we're really hoping to maybe get over that 900 mark. I got to be honest with you. I'm happy if there's 300 cars. It's a whole lot less grief when
It
we
is,
have
right?
a fun day that's
So
just enjoyable.
How long does something like this take to plan?
We start planning, I know it sounds cliche, but literally the
As soon as
day
it
right
ends.
after. So I book all the bands and the celebrities, because
Okay.
every year we have
Oh,
celebrities
yeah, you
too.
do have some celebrities coming,
We
don't
have
you?
had Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees. We had last year Tom Wopat from Dukes of Hazzard. This year we have Eric Estrada and Larry Wilcox from Chips.
Really?
And we have the Chips bike, as seen in the TV movie
Oh, that is
or
awesome.
the TV show, will be there.
That is very cool.
And that's another thing. We always kind of call ourselves Autorama North, because we kind of do that same thing, other than it's in a beautiful park, outdoors, right along the St. Clair River. You can't beat the location and hopefully the beautiful weather.
I know, right? And Marysville, I think, I could be wrong on this, is celebrating their 100th.
It is. It's
100th
Marysville's
year?
100th birthday this year.
Right?
So we'll be doing something with that.
Okay.
And I mentioned the Chips guys.
Yes.
So because those guys probably influenced so many people to go into law enforcement, we're also doing a tribute to the Thin Blue Line.
Okay.
And we've invited police agencies from Troy, Sterling Heights, Clawson, Wixon, any place throughout the state to bring a car there, be there, get the chance to meet their heroes, hopefully,
For
with
sure,
the Chips
right?
guys.
Yeah.
And just let us tip our hat a little bit to them.
And you mentioned the music, and we were at Autorama back in January, and it was so funny because the music was amazing.
It is.
And so rockabilly is what's happening that weekend, right?
We do rockabilly, surf, and a little bit of alt country.
Okay.
Our lineup this year is the Swangos from Minnesota. You mentioned Autorama with the Twist and Tarantulas.
Are they
They're
there?
actually going to be back.
Oh,
They're
are
the
they?
first
Okay.
band we ever booked for Hot Wheels.
Really?
So it's kind of a return visit for them.
Okay.
Then we have Jared Petty and the Headliners from South Carolina. Then the Delta Bombers from Vegas are coming in. And then from Ann Arbor, the one and only George Bedard and the Kingpins.
You have a great lineup.
Every year we have been blessed to be able to have a great lineup. And people ask, well, what, you don't have a lot of bands from around here. I kind of look at it this way. I could go out to a club and I could see local bands, but I enjoy exposing people to music that maybe they've never heard before. And it's really worked out great over the years, from Reverend Horton Heat to Big Sandy to all the bands that people know. I also have to mention, since we're talking about music, Del Vario from the Go Cat Go Rockabilly Show. He has kind of teamed on to our show and helped spread the word, which has really given us a lot of,
Street cred?
credibility
Street cred? Are we-
to a lot of people in that scene.
Right.
And they come and they have a great time.
So if you are bringing a car,
Yes.
do you have to register?
You don't have to register. All you need to do is show up, 801 Huron Avenue, Marysville, Michigan.
Okay.
It is $20 this year. Every year it's been free, but this year has been a little tougher. And I always say we're a victim of our own success. Every year it costs more and more to do these things.
For sure, and it's a great weekend.
Oh, it is a great weekend, and everybody really has a great time.
Okay, so family friendly, lots of entertainment. I assume there'll be lots of food.
Lots of food, lots of food vendors, pop culture vendors, so clothing vendors. We have a vendor who sells vintage toys. So a little bit of something for everybody.
Any Hot Wheels?
You know, it's funny you say that because the cadet agent, the Marysville Cadets, always set up a Hot Wheels track
Oh, do they
in
really?
the convention center so the kids can come in and race the
Oh,
cars.
how cool is that?
And that's another thing. I have to give credit to the Marysville Police. Without us knowing it the first year on the cruise route, they were driving the cruise route, and when they saw kids sitting along the side, got out and gave them Hot Wheels cars.
Really?
They had gone out probably to the dollar store or
Right,
something
for
and bought
sure.
little Hot Wheels cars to help keep the community involved.
But see, how cool is that?
It really is, you know, and this really, they say it's a grassroots thing. Well, there's 3 people really put this whole thing on.
You?
And, I'm one of them, Mike Deasing and Pat Shirkey, and now her son Jared Shirkey is now doing some of our food vendors.
Okay.
And we also have, who I believe is one of your next guests
Yes.
up, Danielle, puts on our Pinup Girl contest, and she's just been awesome to work with.
Oh yeah, no, that's a lot of fun. In fact, we had met her at Autorama, so that was a whole, and the Twisted Tarantulas.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, so that kind of introduced me to this whole scene. So yeah, I'm like looking forward to this weekend.
It's so much fun to see. My brother who lives in North Carolina called me up on Sunday and said, I heard you had a great show. I said, well, yeah, I get pictures. He goes, no, my neighbor, actually from Chapel Hill, came to Michigan to bring his car down.
To the Hot Wheels.
To Hot Wheels. We've gotten that kind of attention now between Canada and all the states around. So, like I said, we've kept growing every year, and I'm really pleased with what we put together.
That is real. You should be super proud. And Marysville, a lot of people are like, Marysville, where is that? So tell us where it is.
We are just south of Port Huron.
Okay.
And if you've ever been driving through Marysville to find Marysville Park, everybody knows the train. There's a full-size rail locomotive right there when you first come into the park,
Okay.
which is another thing kids can play on
Oh,
and have
for
a great
sure,
time.
right? Just a great family adventure,
It-
right?
it really
okay,
is.
so this is August 20...
August 23rd and 24th, the
Okay.
Friday and Saturday,
Okay, so the Saturday, the festivities start at what time?
at noon.
All right, noon. We'll see you there. I'm super excited. Thank you.
Looking forward to it.
And again, that is Christopher Troy. He is one of the producers of the Hot Wheels Weekend, which is happening in Marysville. Super excited about that. Of course, you are watching Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. We are live from Lincoln Yard in Birmingham, and we will be checking in with one of the co-owners, Kirk Catello, in just a few minutes. The food here is amazing. Of course, we want to say a big thank you to them for hosting us today. And look who is sat down next to me. It is Danielle, but for this purpose, we're going to call you Lindy Lamore.
Yes, yes. So my real name is Danielle. I'm Danielle Hudson. I'm from the Port Huron area. But my pinup name, my alter ego, if you will, is Lindy Lamore.
And, you know, the pinup contest, I had never experienced that until, you know, at Autorama. And this is something you've been doing for years.
It is, yeah. I did my first pinup event back in I think it was 2016, my very first one. I fell in love with not only the culture, but the girls. I mean, the amount of sisters and family that I have acquired. They say that, you know, you can't pick your family, but I kind of did. I picked the place where I feel the most comfortable, where the girls, we're kind of a team, and we joke that we're kind of a cult. You know, it's like once you're in, you're in. You don't
right?
leave. You know, because you get so addicted to that feeling of camaraderie and belonging to something.
Well, you know, and it was interesting, too, because even though you're a little bit in competition with each other, there still is, you can see that friendship.
Oh, for sure. You know, when you enter competitions, you're going to lose more than you win. Mm-hmm. And the idea behind the pinup contest, we kind of created the contests for lack of a better term, an excuse to get together.
Okay.
And yeah, we're competing against each other, but there's at no time when you're hoping that someone else does badly, because you may have actually done that girl's hair backstage, and that does happen. You
Or
know,
made the
dress.
The dress, right?
Yes, yeah. And it's very exciting when you see your friends or how far they've come when they used to be scared to speak on the microphone, and now they're standing next to you. Someone you've mentored before is now beating you in a contest. It's still a feeling for me, it's a feeling of accomplishment.
Right.
I've taken this young lady who was scared, and now she's empowered to stand up there, and she's speaking eloquently on the microphone and entertaining the crowd. It's a real feeling of accomplishment for me too.
So for somebody who's never seen a pinup contest, tell me a little bit about it. I mean, describe this.
Sure. So a pinup contest is kind of like a beauty contest, but you don't have to be pretty. It's all about your presentation of what you have and what you've done. We take vintage clothing, one of the judging criteria is how well you have established a vintage look. So typical pinup contests are from time period of the 20s through up to the 70s, and you're judged on how well did you put together an outfit that is vintage or the time period appropriate, how entertaining you were, because there are times when we're looking at they ask a question, was your answer to that question entertaining or was it bland? I'm kind of a jokester, so usually I find some way to put that out there.
Right.
I make jokes, try to entertain the crowd in that way. Then we do posing, like the old-time pinup girl posing, and you're judged on your poise and grace on the stage.
And there's no like talent part,
No.
is there?
No, I mean, I have been in a couple of contests where they do a talent portion, and some girls are very talented, but the other 90% of us are not. And so we do things like I've played the cowbell.
How'd that go?
I played the cowbell to a sound bite that had Christopher Walken telling people that they needed more cowbell. I've also perfected chewing gum on stage while walking.
Oh, excellent.
I've done those sort of things. I've seen girls, sew a button on, or any, like things just goofy, how entertaining they can be.
Right.
So,
and I think it's important too to say, I mean, let's face it, people who do pageants have there's a stereotype.
Yeah.
Right. And with this, it's really not like that.
No.
There's doctors, there's lawyers, there's there's every profession.
There is, yeah. In my day job, my day life, I have a very boring job. So when people hear that's what I do, they're like, wow, that's not something that I would have guessed that's what you do. We have a doctor that is a part of our group that she's amazing, and she wins a lot too, because how do you compete with a doctor? Because she'd be like, I'm a doctor. I'm like, of course you are.
Of course, right?
And you're beautiful,
okay.
and
Exactly.
look at how poised you are. Yes. But yeah, they come from all over. We are all different shapes, all different sizes, all different ages. I've made jokes when I'm on stage saying, yeah, I could have gave birth to many of the women on stage with me because I'm so much older than the rest of them. But still, they're
But it
still
doesn't
friends.
matter.
No.
The age doesn't matter when
No.
you're up there.
No, for sure. And when a younger girl calls me their pinup mama, I do not take offense.
Okay, so can women still enter the contest in Marysville?
Actually, as
it
of right
close?
now, it is waitlisted.
Really?
We have gone from a time when we struggled to get girls to come to Marysville because, for one, they didn't know where Marysville was.
Right.
And for two, it just wasn't a contest that was on the radar. Now, I opened registration, and within about 2 weeks, maybe 3, it was filled. So now I put out on the internet that I have a wait list. I do have 2 girls on my wait list waiting for someone, because inevitably 1 or 2 girls will drop out due to illness or nerves. We do get those ones.
Do you?
New. Yeah, we get some that
Okay.
go, oh no, I didn't. Nope, changed my mind.
Okay, so let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
If somebody, poise and speaking in front of a crowd, these are all things that are good and beneficial in life, actually,
right.
But how do you talk them through that?
Well, for my contest, I typically, there's a question and answer portion. And for me, the crowd wants a good show. The girls want to feel at home. So I will give them, I give them a handful of questions that I might ask so that they can be prepared for that. And they're talking to me.
Oh, they are?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm the host, so
Okay.
I'm the MC, so I try to make sure that everyone feels comfortable talking with me. I told them if you've got something you want me to say about you when I'm talking, they write their own bios, and usually they're pretty good at making them funny or entertaining. I did have one lady who did one year write me a limerick that I had to say as her bio, which was entertaining and fun. But just trying to make them feel at home with me. If they're at home with me and we're making jokes while we're joking or talking when we're on the microphone, it just helps them, and it gives a better show.
So if people these pinup contests, they happen often, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a
There's a
website or
season?
something where you can check out?
Well, so a lot of them are on Facebook. They make Facebook events. A lot of them have their own websites where they can get information from there. Mine, I do mostly on Facebook. I post them and make them public, and they just get shared around. Like I think my Hot Wheels one has been shared around 400 sometimes that
Wow.
people have just passed it on.
Right, right.
So this is and you see in their little comments, it's always kind of funny because I don't know that person, but I see, hey, this is the contest that I was telling you about, and then they tag someone else. I have girls coming from Ohio. I have girls coming from up at the top of the Mitten. I have girls coming over. We are right across the pond from Canada. I have 3 girls this year that are coming over from Canada. So
Really?
Going international.
International
Yeah.
Hot Wheels.
I won a contest in Canada outside the Windsor area. So that's what I say. I'm an international pinup model now.
Okay, so how many titles have you won?
Enough.
Come on.
I'm
sad you didn't wear your tiara today.
I didn't wear my tiara. I probably won 13-ish for maybe someplace.
She says so modestly.
I think, well,
13
it's funny
maybe?
because we did just count because of course I keep all of these things.
Of
They're
course.
my most prized possessions. But we also for Marysville, we are going to actually crown 6 ladies.
Oh.
We crown the winner, and then first and second runner-up, and then we do an interior contest that people don't know about until later on when we do the crowning, but we crown 3 additional pinup choice, and that's where the girls vote amongst themselves. So we have for Marysville Hot Wheels, we have one that is like, you look at that gal and you say that is a pinup gal, and just look from head to toe. And we call that our classy chassis. And she's got the most vintage look.
Okay.
And then we have another one that is more of like that's the greaser girl, and she does. She's got that very greaser look. But we also have the Queen's Queen, where all of my past queens get together and they pick somebody that they think they're so close. They're so
Just
close,
right
and
there.
you've watched them come from the girl who answered your question with one word and then handed the mic back. And now they're out there and they're
You're
strutting
like
their-
wrestling the
Yeah,
microphone
it's like,
away
give me
from
that back.
them, right?
Okay, give me it back.
Time is up.
Yes.
Well, that is awesome. I'm looking forward to being there. It sounds, Christopher was describing the weekend in general, and it's just a good time.
Oh, for sure. And he was talking about, Friday nights, a lot of us girls that are local will go down to the car cruise and watch. They put the movie up on the side of the portable drive-in movie that they have out there, wander around. And he was talking too about the Hot Wheels, being called Hot Wheels. They always have one car that shows up that like spurts fire. I don't even know where it comes from, and I'm like, that was cool. And you'll see that usually on the Friday night.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
we have to go Friday night then if we want
Well-
to see the car with fire.
Well, no, it comes through the cruise too. It did come through the cruise this year, or the cruise and the car show. It came through
Okay.
the car show on Saturday.
All right, awesome. Well, this is the weekend of August 23rd and 24th.
It is. Yes.
Okay, and Friday night festivities, Saturday. What time's the contest Saturday?
The contest is at 1:00. So that way we can do 1 o'clock, have the girls, and then the girls will, if you have a car and you're coming out, the girls love to pose with your car. So they do wander around the grounds there, and if you've got a classic car, there's always photographers on site. They'll take a picture with you and your car, or
Bonus.
or just the car, or just the girl.
Just the girl, right?
Yep, for sure.
All right. Well, listen, Danielle, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to
you.
see you again. I'm looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks. And
I'm looking forward to having
what
you.
fun
It's going
will
to be
it
so much fun.
I know. I cannot wait. What am I wearing? I seem to be asking that question all the time.
I think
What-
I'm going to dress you.
What am I wearing?
I do. I think I'm going to dress you in
Are you?
something vintage and fabulous.
Oh, excellent. Perfect. I'll see you then.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And again, the Hot Wheels weekend in Marysville, that is coming up August 23rd, 24th. We'll be there. Super excited about that. A lot of fun going on. And this is a topic nobody likes talking about, but everyone needs insurance, whether it be car, homeowners, or life insurance. According to Forbes, 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And that means if something unexpected happens, the money to pay for it just is really not available. So a question. If you did not come home tomorrow, will your family have enough money to stay in your home and live the lifestyle they are accustomed to? Will your children be able to afford college or even that future wedding? If you don't have the answer, then you are not prepared. Well, it's okay. So many people get overwhelmed thinking about this and they aren't sure who to talk to. Well, Lynn Sturla with Michigan Farm Bureau Insurance can help. And instead of living with the stress and worry about things you can't control, just call Lynn. Trust me, Lynn is fabulous, and she will help you determine exactly what you need and put together a plan that you can afford. And surprisingly, term life insurance is affordable. A 40-year-old non-smoker in good health may pay around $22 a month for a 20-year, $1,000 policy. You don't need to have everything in place all at once. Just reach out to Lynn at sterlainsurance.com, and she will help you out, whether you need life insurance, home insurance, car insurance, anything you need. Trust me, Lynn will help you. Well, we are broadcasting live from the beautiful Lincoln Yard in Birmingham, and Kurt Catallo is the co-owner with his wife, Ann. And Kurt, thanks, first of all, for hosting us. I appreciate it.
We love that you're here. It makes an exciting Monday in Birmingham. Thank you.
It is so awesome. And of course, we have spoken several times over the phone during the interviews, my time at WWJ, and so funny to meet you in person, finally to meet you in person after all this time.
I'm better to see in radio than in person.
Oh,
trust
stop.
me, so.
Okay, so we are at Lincoln Yard in Birmingham,
Yep.
and this is one of your newest restaurants.
It is. It's the latest restaurant for Union Joints. We've been doing this for almost 30 years, and then this is one that kind of was planned before the pandemic, but it took us a little longer because of all the headwinds. And this Union Joint, we actually partnered with Roger Penske Jr. to make it happen. And so Ann and I are just so proud that it's finally online and active and doing what we wanted it to do.
So you opened in March?
Yeah, which was right on schedule, just 4 years late. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you have that then.
Yeah. I think for us, we're used to challenges. We love these old buildings that need to be repurposed. This was a school district bus garage for Birmingham.
Oh, we were trying to figure out what it was.
And so Ann really leaned into the doors and the space and the kind of the warehouse vibe, and that's what we love about it. It's in the rail district of Birmingham. It just has a different vibe. And it's a big tent that's game for anything.
So, Union Joints, obviously. How many are there now?
It's crazy, but we're up to like 13, and then we also have outposts at Ford Field and Pine Knob. But each one is different. That's the crazy thing is we're not smart enough to do the same thing twice. So each one is different. It always leans into the space. It leans into the community because we really want it to be a local joint that the neighbors love, that's really neighborhood first. And this is no different. And the only thing that's constant throughout, really, is our mac and cheese,
Yes,
which I have here.
which you have here.
And Roger Penske Jr., when he signed on to be our partner here and in Ann Arbor at Union Rec, he said, the only thing I'm going to ask for the menu is that you make sure you have the mac and cheese. And that was an easy promise for us to keep.
Okay, so you mentioned the mac and cheese. Of course, it's sitting here on the table. I'm getting a lot of food today. I'm super excited about
Excellent.
this. But the whole thing of mac and cheese and how it's evolved. I mean, as a kid, of course, I used to love, Kraft mac and cheese, and then Velveeta was fancy, right?
Yep.
But how has this evolved?
And it's funny. There's no shame in the commodity game. There's some great things about a boxed mac and cheese. But for us, when we opened in 1995 at the Union, My wife Ann is from Minnesota, and hot dishes are like a staple
Oh, hot
there.
dishes, yes,
It's
right?
the land of the
It's like
hot
the
dish.
casserole, the equivalent, right?
Exactly.
It
and,
is.
and she said, the menu looks great, but we need a mac and cheese and a casserole, a true hot dish. And we came up with this. Our opening chef, Bill Fortin, dreamt it up. We went down to Eastern Market, got the supplies, and when it came out of our oven at the apartment, this was it. And we served
So
millions.
you guys
since.
actually are the ones who created this.
This mac and cheese was developed in 1995 by us, and it's been the cornerstone of everything we've built since.
Is it at every restaurant?
It is. It's a mandate.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a mandate, right?
Yeah, it's
okay.
key.
Okay. So I mean, obviously, I actually celebrated my birthday last year at Union Assembly.
How did we do? I hope we did well.
You did well.
And
you
that's
did very well.
That's a place built for those kind of parties. It's downtown Detroit between the Fox and Fillmore, as
Yep.
you know. But it's just built for the bustle, so it's great for those kind of events.
And Lincoln, your wife Ann, she's not here, but she designs these
she
restaurants, right?
Anne is just she knows exactly how she wants it to look as she's building it, and then she sees it through, and it's a vision that Anne and her team execute. But each one is different, but there's also like a commonality. You know it's real, you know it's authentic, you know it's got soul and character, and that's really, we try to carry that into the food too, and that's what sets us apart.
So mac and cheese, obviously one of your most popular dishes. Name another dish that's popular.
Each one is different, but we at Lincoln Yard, it's really about the smoked proteins out back that we do in our smoker and back, and then the rotisserie chicken here is kind of the cornerstone. So we use this great rotisserie chicken that we brine overnight that we use in a lot of dishes, but at the end of the day, it's about comfort food regardless of the culture, and we influence it from many different cultures, and that's what makes it fun. Spices, interesting, and we give it our chefs and our crew a license just to have some fun with it, and we hope that people feel that.
I think you do.
The
And
key.
because every restaurant's so unique, even though they have the same touch.
Yeah.
Right? So, okay, this mac and cheese is sitting here.
Yeah, I hope it hasn't been sitting too long, but it holds its heat pretty well. So.
Is there a... Will you
Yep.
hand me a fork? Thank you. Okay, okay, my mic is going down.
What
All
I
right.
want the podcast to capture the crunch of that crust.
Okay,
That's
all right,
our
so
Parmesan
is that what we're
crust.
doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the mac and cheese mic.
Yeah,
Here we go.
This is the stuff of legend.
Do you hear it? I hear it.
It's practically
steam.
deafening in person.
It is,
Yeah,
right?
It's just
Okay, I'm gonna
it's
make a
that
big mess out of
Parmesan
this.
and panko
It is
breadcrumb.
steaming.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, this time of year, if I told you how many grad parties and everything that
And
Matt goes to,
don't tell me how many calories are in this.
there's not a single preservative in there. It's all good for you.
Okay. So delicious.
It's true that we wouldn't be here without the mac and cheese because it's our cornerstone in so many reasons. And we do a gluten-free version that I love. And there are things about the gluten-free version that I would love to carry over to the regular. It's just a little tricky. Like our breadcrumb substitute in the gluten-free is so outstanding. And, in Birmingham, we know that the gluten-free and vegan options are important. And that community, when you get it right, they will be the best ambassadors you can ever ask for.
Right.
So we have our mac and cheese, which is mandatory, but then we have gluten-free options, which are killer too.
I'm just going to keep eating.
I think I'll just keep going. I'll close your podcast, I'll do
you
it
know
all.
what? We have one more guest. We have Aubrey from our Caffeinated Kindness. Every month we rotate
Love it.
a nonprofit, and so we feature that, and she is with Volunteers of America, Michigan.
Doing the real work.
Yep, she's doing the real work, so
Yeah.
she's going to come on. But I'm going to keep eating this, and you
As
tell
you
me
should.
what Lincoln Yard's hours are.
So Lincoln Yard, it's really two joints in one. And that little yard, which is next door here, is our coffee shop that opens at 7 a.m. with an all-day breakfast until 3 p.m. So it's perfect if you're coming in, you want to get a coffee, you want to get a matcha, and then our pastries that Jen and our pastry team do, I just can't say enough about them. And then a breakfast burrito or a frittata or some bacon or some turkey sausage. So it's fun. We want this to be a kind of place where if people are going across the street to play tennis, they can go before or after. If they're dropping kids off over for hockey, they can come by. If it's a hockey team or a baseball team, come on by. It's really, we try to make this place something for everybody throughout the day, and I think that's what the Little Yard and Lincoln Yard 1-2 punch does so well.
Is this the only restaurant that has the combination like that, or there's another one,
we
right?
started that at Honcho, where Ann designed a coffee side that opens in the day, and it's just fun to see how the building is like activated throughout the course of a day.
That's
And then
making use of everything.
yeah, and we took it to Ann Arbor, which is perfect because you can go to Ann Arbor at 9 o'clock and there'll be students in the dining room with coffees from our coffee shop studying on the Wi-Fi. And it's great to see a space that can give something to a community throughout a day. And that's important to us.
Okay, so Lincoln Yard is the restaurant
Yeah,
here.
so Lincoln Yard opens at 11 o'clock.
Okay, and is open till when?
Yeah, and then it goes until 10 o'clock during the week and later on the weekends.
And you have a full bar, right?
Yeah, so what's fun about the full bar and the way you can sit in Lincoln Yard, you could sit here in our lounge.
Yes.
You could sit at the bar. You could sit at the lunch counter.
Or the patio.
Or at the patio or the pizza station. We do wood fire pizzas
Where's
here.
the pizza station?
It's just behind the bar. And so there are people that, if they want to sit there and watch a little theater, they can see our crew throwing the pies and putting them in the wood fire oven, which is fun. So again, I think what Ann does so well in the space is just, she makes it where you can kind of decide the narrative. If you want to come in and have a business meeting or a podcast in the corner, have at it. If it's a group from hockey and you want a 20 top, bring it on.
Right.
So for us, it's just all about letting you decide what you want it to be and us just being true to who we are.
It is amazing, and I mean, honestly, this is one of my favorite restaurants. I'm not just saying that. That's how we ended up here. I come here all the time
Thank
after the
you.
show.
Yeah.
So it is amazing to actually be here and to meet you in person. So I have one more question. Are there any more in the works?
We are so crazy.
So I guess that's a yes.
For us, it was really getting caught up during COVID. When the pandemic hit, we found ourselves with 4 approved projects, and we were in trouble. I mean, it was just, the headwinds were incredible. And so for us to get this open, it gave us a time to kind of take a breather and recalibrate and just let our team catch their breath. Because our crew, we have 1,000 people at Union Joints.
Wow.
And they work so hard and they just care so much. And we owe it to them to like take a breather and have a little more time.
So real quick, since you mentioned your team, I mean, 1,000 people, that's a lot. And are you one of the restaurants that are having a hard time retaining people, or I imagine people stay with you a long time?
You know, we're very fortunate because we do have retention that's better than industry average, and we have people who've been with us for 25 or almost 30 years, and they define the culture. And I think the key is that we just try to create a culture that differentiates us so that when people come in, they have a reason to stay. And then we open more restaurants, not just because we're crazy, but because we want to give them a chance to grow with us. And it's worked so far, but you know, every day we get a little smarter. Every day we pivot. Every day we learn, and that's what you have to do in this business.
So for, what is your number one piece of advice for anyone who wants to get into the restaurant business?
Buckle up. Yeah, that's the number one piece of advice is buckle up, and then it's a 1-2 punch. You have to take all of the Yelps and all of the reviews seriously, but you also have to find a way to get some sleep at night. So learn from it, but don't let it weigh on you too much, and just know that a restaurant needs to always change. And it's true with the way we open our restaurants, it's a baseline, but then we just keep tweaking and adjusting it as we go. And that's true of all of our joints, whether we've had them for 30 years or 6 months.
Well, thank you so much again, Kurt. It's an amazing place. You guys have such great food and really good coffee, so thank you.
Proud of the coffee, proud of the team. Thanks for finding us.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. And again, we are broadcasting live from Lincoln Yard. This is Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. We are in Birmingham, of course. Thank you so much for being with us. Of course, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, one of the missions of the show is to highlight a nonprofit every month, and it is a new month, which means it is a new nonprofit. And Volunteers of America, Michigan, Aubrey McFarland is the CEO and president. And Aubrey, the mission is to give everyone a chance to kind of grow their potential, achieve dignity, and find purpose. And this is something that VOA has been doing for over 100 years.
That is correct. We've been doing this for over 128 years now, and we do it all across the state of Michigan, mostly focused in the bottom third of the state right now. And our goal really is to love people, right? Nobody is a throwaway person. Nobody deserves not to have happiness and find their purpose in life, and our goal is to help make that happen.
So how do you do that? Because that is a big mission.
It is a big mission. So we like to find our unique spot in being able to do that. Right now we really have 3 lines of service. We serve veterans, and we really serve any veteran that comes our way. You can be honorably discharged, you can be dishonorably discharged, and we still believe that you have a place in this community, and we try and help you find permanent housing is one of our specialties.
And that is a big problem, right?
A big problem, especially finding affordable housing as well, which actually, aside from serving veterans, we do affordable housing as well. So we have 11 affordable housing sites across the state, serving veterans, serving seniors, serving families, and people with disabilities. And what we do to be able to serve all these folks is we run 6 thrift stores across the state. And so every dollar of profit from those thrift stores goes directly into serving veterans or serving seniors or families who are in our affordable housing places.
So you're across Michigan, and what is the biggest need you guys are seeing right now?
So affordable housing really hit high on our strategic plan. I spent the first year as the CEO really working to develop the strategic plan and figure out where our unique assets could really meet these community needs, and affordable housing was really the top. I went into the strategic plan saying, we are at an impending crisis with affordable housing, and I left the strategic planning process saying we are in an affordable housing crisis. And so we're finding many middle-income Americans, particularly middle-income seniors, who can no longer afford a place to live. And our goal is to be able to grow more in affordable housing, assure people have a safe place to be. One thing that we do that is unique and really adds to our potential to help house people is that we really wrap them in services. So when you come to one of our affordable housing sites, we are not just a landlord. We are there to help you if you have medical needs. We're help you if you get into financial trouble and we need to help you prevent eviction. Our goal really is to keep people housed.
And that's so important, because you can help somebody with one aspect, but if you don't have those wraparound services, or you have to help the whole person, and that's what you guys do.
That's exactly right. And it's really interesting if we look back at the healthcare industry. When we started as social workers, you used to get a bulk of money and they said, go do good work. And as we got smarter, we started to measure the outcomes of what we did. But what happened is we had a little bit of a dilution of really all of those social determinants of health, right? I can help you find housing, but if you don't have food and income security, you can't maintain that housing. You're not going to be healthy. And if you don't have housing and food security, how are we going to treat your mental health challenges? And so now the industry's really moved to seeing all of that work that we do, which is really focusing on all of those areas of the whole person. And they're actually looking to fund those services, knowing that that impacts you as a healthy human being.
And you guys do help families.
We do.
Right? Families and with children.
We do. We actually have an 158-unit property in Battle Creek. It consists of everything from studios to 4-bedroom condos, and that is specifically for families. We also do adopt a family at the holiday time, so folks can adopt a family in the area, and we have a huge Operation Backpack program that works to make sure.
Oh, that must be gearing up.
It is gearing up.
Okay.
It is in full force. We have volunteers that support that tremendously. The whole back room is filled with backpacks, and there are a number of school districts that we work with to ensure that children get backpacks, but we also ensure that the veterans that we serve, that their children have backpacks, and even the seniors that are in our affordable housing sites, that their grandchildren have backpacks to be able to go to school.
That is amazing. And you mentioned, Volunteers of America, right? But do you need volunteers?
Always.
Okay.
Always. Whether you want to be outside and helping us fix up properties and help doing beautification, whether you want to do crafts with the seniors at one of our affordable housing sites, or work with some of our families in Battle Creek, or help stuff backpacks. There are always opportunities for volunteering. We have a transitional housing program for veterans in Detroit, so serving meals is always a great way to get engaged with the veterans and make sure that they have a nice home-cooked meal as well.
Well, listen, I am so grateful we met at Mackinac at the policy conference, and this is just such an important mission, so we'll be highlighting you all month long. I am really excited about that and glad that you guys, wanted to do this, because it's important to draw attention to those needs.
Yeah.
And so I'm just so thankful. So how do people reach out to you?
Great. So they can contact us through Volunteers of America Michigan, voami.org.
Okay.
And there are plenty of ways to get involved there. We have the Call Sam Chopper Shop coming up, where we're raffling off a Lions bike and with Right? It's going to be amazing. And I will highlight National Thrift Day is August 17th. So
Okay.
anyone who's interested in the sustainability of thrift, where we help support 30 tons of waste from going in to the dump, can come by August 17th and any of our thrift stores and get 25% off.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And next week, I believe we'll be talking about the Serve program with Rick.
Absolutely.
I think, right? So that's
With Zach.
Zach. Sorry.
Zach, yep.
Sorry, Zach.
That's okay.
I called you
Zach
Rick.
is amazing,
Okay.
and that is our suicide prevention program. He's a vet. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
No,
He
thank
will
you.
be amazing.
Thank you so much, Aubrey. And again, that is Aubrey McFarland. She is the CEO and president of Volunteers of America, Michigan. Well, it has been quite a day, of course. We are broadcasting live from Lincoln Yard in Birmingham. And usually at this time, we do our big giveaway, but we have switched things up. Jason Waldron is with me. And Jason, before we go, we are switching up the giveaway this month.
We're switching it up again.
We're switching it up again, just because, you know what? We believe in adventure. So.
It'll be fun, but we're going to do it on a monthly basis
Yes,
now.
on a
The
monthly
prizes,
basis.
the giveaways are going to be much larger,
Yes.
much more entailed.
And
so
themed.
it'll be fun.
So definitely themed and so much fun. And I have to say, you know, we had the After Dark show last week. That was amazing. We had a great turnout. So much fun. We had David Darajotis, Dr. Terry Orbach on. And Fifth Avenue. Thank you to them. I mean, we've been so
Absolutely.
lucky to be at Fifth Avenue last week and Lincoln Yard today.
I know, it's beautiful here.
I know, it's one of our favorite restaurants. We come here all the time. So,
And this month it's going to be car themed, classic car themed, Michigan.
Yep.
The giveaway.
It
So it'll
just
be
seemed
cool.
obvious, right?
Obvious.
It just seemed obvious. So listen. I know you're not feeling well, so thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
You know, and you're such a team
I'm
player.
towards the end of it, so that's good.
Exactly. So, and again, thank you to all of you for watching. Thank you to Aaron, our executive producer, for being here and holding all the plates today. It's a big job. Somebody has to do it. And of course, to My Michigan TV and to Jared back at the studio, David, John, Dave Scott here, and Ken, who stopped by to bring us some equipment. It's been a fun morning. Thank you so much for being with us. We will see you next week, same time, not same place, but same time. And you'll be amazed at who's on next week. We'll see you later. Have a great week. Keep the coffee hot. Thanks.